Alright everyone, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we will be reacting to a video by Tdawgsmitty submitted by someone in the video suggestion tab of my Discord, the most hated Call of Duty by Tdawgsmitty. The original video might not be in the description. If it is, we'll go check it out. If not, here it is. Here we go.
If I were to ask you what you think the most underrated Call of Duty was, what would you say? Infinite Warfare? Ghost? Black Ops Cold War? Modern Warfare 2 2022? Oh, okay. Let's not kid ourselves. I would say the most underrated Call of Duty game is one most people never...
Yeah, Modern Warfare 2022 is horrendous, bro. MW 2019? Okay. MW 2022 / MW2, like, remastered? Same with MW3 or MW 2022.
Even mentioned one that built up so much hype just to be torn down by the trends of the time. A game plagued by poor leadership, a game plagued by bugs and glitches, and a game that despite all innovated in ways that you'd never expect. That game is Call of Duty World War II.
True. Honestly, it is underrated now. Stuff's going on PC with it, but you get the point.
By the middle of Infinite Warfare's life cycle, fans were already clamoring for the next entry into the Call of Duty franchise. Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, which was bundled into a more pricey version of Infinite Warfare, thanks Activision, led fans
Activision loves their money, bro.
To beg the dev teams to bring back the classic boots on the ground movement. In
boots
addition
on the ground.
to that request, fans wanted to return to the past or even the present, as the future setting was wearing thin year after year. Then, on April 26, 2017, a curious little trailer.
This trailer was
appeared on
crazy, dude. It went hard.
Duty's YouTube channel. On paper, Call of Duty World War II was the answer to millions of fans' complaints. Boots on the ground gameplay, an OG Call of Duty setting of the 1940s rather than decades or centuries into the future, and
true, we had a lot of that.
And a reason to get your boys back online. Yet, why was this game forgotten? Why does it never come up in conversation? Does the community hate it, or do we just forget what it had to offer?
Honestly, now, it's not a bad game. Now, on PC, the hacking problem, but, like, the core game, honestly, isn't bad. Now, some of the zombie maps aren't amazing, but, like, the Final Reich and Boston House, those are good maps, and those are the free ones anyway. And as for the multiplayer, it's gotten a lot better now, and the campaign, in my opinion, pretty good. Not as good as World of War, but it's still pretty good. And plus, we're still working on the World of War campaign on this channel. We're getting close to the end.
A complete overhaul of this game aid to its survival, or by the time it got good, was it already left in the dust? Now join me in exploring the story behind what might just be the most underrated Call of Duty in the franchise history.
Let's see. Chapter 1, the state of COD in 2017.
Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3 had been well received by the Call of Duty community, alongside their new movement system
what do you say? I wasn't
centered
paying.
around flying.
What do you say? I wasn't paying attention. Wait. Sorry.
Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3 had been well received by the Call of Duty community,
I don't know about AW, but BO3, yeah. Mainly BO3, yeah. I mean, I'm a zombies guy. That's what mainly this channel is about. That was great. The MP was great. Nightmares was Free Run was kind of cool. As for the campaign, train go boom.
Their new
That's all we know.
Centered around flying with an exosuit. But by the end of Treyarch's run in 2016, fans were ready for Infinity Ward to try something new, fresh, and nostalgic. So, what did Infinity Ward do?
Isn't it one of, like, the most disliked videos of all time? No, am I tripping? I can't remember. You have 4 million dislikes.
At least the game.
Ads.
Game that nearly killed the Call of Duty franchise. While diehards stayed with the game, mostly thanks to the Modern Warfare Remastered, casuals left in favor for more of a classic FPS game, Battlefield 1. Devastated at sales.
Battlefield 1 was a good World War 1 game. There's not many World War 1 like games now. Usually they go for World War 2 if they pick one. Same with Vietnam and Korea. I've never seen one on like the Korean War. I think that'd be cool. But Battlefield 1 was a gem, alright? You know, it was a gem.
Numbers, but still somehow managing to come out ahead of EA, Activision went back to the drawing board. They had to make a plan to get players to return. They were going to take Call of Duty back to its roots. The next year,
Boots on the ground, boys.
Activision swung back. They announced what they believed to be the savior of the Call of Duty franchise.
Call of Duty World War II.
Call of Duty World War II. There was actually rumors around Sledgehammer's game being Advanced Warfare 2, but
That would have been worse than World War II's launch, to be honest. It would have been a grueling process. Like, even if World War II wasn't very well received, at least we got the refreshment of boots on the ground. If we got Advanced Warfare 2, we're still on the grind of exosuits and flying, jumping. I think BO3 mastered the movement perfectly to where you can understand it pretty well within like 5 minutes and use it very properly. As for Advanced Warfare, if you knew the movement, you were basically better in almost every way.
Activision actually vetoed it and it told them to go back to the basics. Ironically, the trailer was reminiscent of a very similar trailer from the year prior. That must have just been a coincidence. Fans were thrilled.
I don't know. I don't know, bro. It looked a little similar.
Very similar trailer from the year prior. That must have
just a tad bit. Not at all. The guns both have side mags aimed at a duel. I don't know.
A coincidence. Fans were thrilled to see the direction Sledgehammer Games was taking, which resulted in this trailer reaching the top of the trending page and racking up a total of 1 million likes in just a few days. If you compare this to the Infinite Warfare trailer, yeah, this is
like to dislike. No, like to like. Okay, dislike to dislike. Oh no.
Much better. The hype was real for Sledgehammer's second ever Call of Duty entry, and old fans were finally returning. Praise was thrown at both Activision and Sledgehammer for finally listening to the community. Not much was announced after the initial launch trailer. There was a story trailer, multiplayer trailer, and a few behind-the-scenes live streams exploring the game's offerings. Also announced was a Destiny 2-esque online player hub where players could show off their prestige levels and characters.
Dude, the headquarters was such an innovative ability, and we haven't seen it like since. If you don't know what the headquarters is or forgot, basically before loading into a multiplayer match or going into a multiplayer match, you could load this area up where you could like walk around in third person, open supply drops for, or what was it, loot crates. I can't remember. It's been a while, but you know what I'm talking about. For zombies and for multiplayer, you could do that. You could show your prestige, just have a good time. You could train with train with weapons. You could test out streaks on like bots, dude. It was very innovative.
In between matches.
I think we need to see like another version of this in BO7. Imagine this. They have a headquarters for multiplayer and zombies. Warzone, it's already like the practice, like you're deploying and you keep shooting with your class, which will be your loadout in the future if you get to your loadout drop. But the multiplayer should have one of these, and the zombies should have like a zombie-themed version of the headquarters.
Although there was no gameplay to accompany it, people were hyped because this was something that Destiny did really well. Now, a little side note, right around this time, a little game you may never have heard of began to rise in popularity. Fortnite. It won't come in...
Oh yeah, Fortnite. Yeah, that was another problem with, World War II and BO4. Fortnite was just huge. Like an example, Pat, the Smith Plays, kind of was over on Fortnite instead of the zombies grind. No, with Jay too, near the end of World War II, I'm pretty sure. And a bunch of other YouTubers, obviously, but,
Play till later, but it's important to note that this timing as it creates a total shift in how World War II was received at launch.
Fall upon liftoff.
November 3rd, 2017 inched closer and closer, and fans' anticipation was reaching higher and higher. The beta was received with decent enough reception, despite some server issues and pre-orders.
I don't know why I'm saying that. Like, I know what's gonna happen. I was there for the game. It was a rough start, but honestly, I stuck through and all. Like, I wasn't playing it very often. I was also on the Fortnite grind. I didn't have a channel, but like, I was playing a bunch of Fortnite at the time when this game came out. And I wasn't the biggest fan at first, but it slowly got better over time, to be honest. Now, I would give it like a low B. Not that bad.
Higher than they had been in years. Playing the open beta was even incentivized via a free helmet to customize each player's character. Then, the day arrived. The game didn't work. Server issues persisted throughout launch week, rendering the game didn't work. Then, the day arrived. The game didn't work. Server issues persisted throughout launch week.
Hey, it's better than Vanguard. Let me tell you that.
Game borderline unplayable. Not even the solid campaign could make up for the failed matchmaking services upon launch. Because let's be honest, most Call of Duty players are playing multiplayer first. These issues took about a...
Yeah. Most people don't go in order from like campaign, multiplayer, zombies. You either go to the zombies first or the multiplayer first, usually. No one's ever going first for the campaign. Most of the time, at least.
Week to get resolved, but when they did...
Unless, like, I think it was a thing for MW 2023, where you could you could play the campaign first, like a beta campaign or something. Then I could see that. But, like, if you have access to a multiplayer zombies campaign... Most YouTubers and most people in general are going to go with the multiplayer or zombies first. Last is usually campaign, not including like if there's a new war zone. But like for World War II, there wasn't a war zone or a blackout.
Players then began to realize just how rough and bland the game really was. The promised customization lacked any depth. Players were able to customize their soldier, but not more than outfits and helmets. And how did you earn these? Supply drops. Yes, the infamous microtransaction cash grab came back. And they even gave you a platform to show off what you got in the supply drops by opening them up in the HQ. You could also get gun variants from supply drops, but there just weren't many attachments to even unlock per gun. Topping off the questionable decisions was the removal of the create a class system in replacement for a division system. Players picked their division
Honestly, division wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I think I preferred just the normal create class, but division wasn't bad.
In order to begin a class setup, they could pick infantry if they wanted to feel like a traditional frontline soldier with a semi-automatic rifle and a self-loading pistol. Expeditionary for players wanting to be an aggressive scout with shotguns and the dreaded and poorly balanced incendiary shells. Airborne.
Yeah, I forgot about those. You remember the double barrel rifle bullet? Where you could shoot a rifle bullet through the double barrel, dude.
For those wanting a submachine gun to run and gun, armored for heavies who want to use armor, LMGs, and bazookas, and mountain for those who want to be a long-range fighter and snipe to assist their team. These divisions locked you into one kind of weapon and forced players to stick to specific playstyle.
And then there's just cavalry. They're just there.
Want a trick shot and run and gun with a sniper? No. Too bad. You hang out behind everyone on the front lines. Want to suppress any gun that isn't an SMG? Oops, only SMGs can use them. This system attempted to be...
I thought pistols could too.
Innovative, yet proved counterintuitive both to COD fans and new players. And get this, as a part of the division system, limited sprint became the norm, and you were forced to choose between either carrying a tactical grenade or a lethal grenade. You could not have both normally. Limited sprint made the game feel much slower, especially coming off the tail end of the exosuit era, in which the new movement made the game feel quicker. And the forced selection between lethal and tactical grenades made them feel practical.
We might rank the video at the end, alright? We might. Thank you to the person that submitted this.
Useless and only handy in oddly specific scenarios rather than having the flexibility of carrying both for any situation players would encounter. These gross changes plagued what once was a flawless multiplayer system, and honestly, all playstyles just felt the same. The game also...
I don't think this is the most hated Call of Duty. I think it was at the time of launch. I think the most hated is probably Vanguard.
So shipped with a minimal amount of maps on day one. At launch, players could only battle on 9 maps, and one of these was Gustav Cannon. The idea of bringing the boys back together was already collapsing before the fans' eyes.
Yeah, Chapter 3, The Downfall. Add Valorant. Add.
Remember when I mentioned a little game called Fortnite? Well, that was one of the handful of factors in World War II's decline in popularity. Fortnite's popularity rose quickly towards the end of summer 2017 and continued to keep growing into the fall of 2017. What made it so popular was its price tag of $0, which encouraged gamers everywhere to check it out. This was unheard of at the time. When it came to Call of Duty World War II's $60 price tag, a lot of players found themselves debating whether or not it was worth it. This further drove the dilemma and made it easier for players
Run.
just to move to Fortnite. In Fortnite, you get a group of guys together and it's $0. On top of all this, Fortnite introduced cross-platform. So if your buddy was on PlayStation or Xbox or PC, you could all play together. Outside of just casual...
Yeah, crossplay is such a good thing most of the time. Most of the time.
Gamers, content creators even found themselves moving over to
This is OG Fortnite lad.
Fortnite content. The biggest example of this creator shift would be Ali A. For the longest...
Good thing it's space boost, so we don't want copyright. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I don't know if it is. I don't know. Well, I guess you use it intro. Okay, not the point. Yeah, Ali A, COD World War II.
Time, Ali A was the biggest name in COD content creation. He had played every Call of Duty, whether it was in its prime of the game or during Infinite Warfare. Ali A stayed on top and was the king of this gaming subculture on YouTube. Ali A started off playing COD World War II just like he did every year with the new installment. But then
he went to Fortnite, and now that's where his main career is. Now, I've seen him occasionally upload some COD, you know, on his main channel and his COD channel, but... You know, he's mainly doing Fortnite, so.
They decided to upload Fortnite while Call of Duty's popularity online began to tank, and the rest is history. His COD channel slowly became solely about Fortnite, and the once king of COD had given up his crown. Luckily, we saw the rise of new creators like Dismo, who rose out of the empty void of content creators who left COD for Fortnite. The sad truth remains that at this time, Call of Duty World War II was just stale. Even the 3 new modes couldn't keep fans entertained. The modes Gridiron and War were added alongside with the 1v1 pit in the HQ, but couldn't hold people's attention for more than an hour or so. How the 1v1 pit worked was that players signed up to 1v1.
Oh, I remember this.
To use. The winner stayed.
1v1 was actually kind of cool.
And the leaderboard shows off who has the highest win streak in the HQ. Gridiron was a boots on the ground take on Black Ops 3's uplink. Players are tasked with carrying a ball across the map to their enemy's goal in order to score points. When someone has the ball, they can't use a gun, and
that was okay. I wasn't the biggest fan
of that mode. Teammates to help them. War mode was a linear objective-based game.
I honestly kind of liked. Well, I didn't really play it. I didn't play the War mode on launch. But, like, I recently played it, like, a few months ago. War mode was pretty good.
Game mode that saw players passing through 3 stages of a specifically designed map to reach the end goal. 1 second, you could be storming the beaches of Normandy, and the next, you and your team are guiding a tank to blow up artillery guns. This mode added a much new and needed, fresh approach to gameplay that resembled that of one of COD's competitor FPS games, Overwatch. Despite how well these 3 modes...
Not gonna lie, I forgot about Overwatch.
...were made, it couldn't hold players already dwindling interest in the game. Bored and disappointed, COD fans either continued to force feed themselves more and more World War II gameplay or moved on entirely to Fortnite. Then, the first DLC pack was announced, The Resistance. DLC releases in past Call of Duty games that felt more like low-stakes.
Honestly, Dark Shore is a little underrated in my opinion. Doesn't mean it's amazing though.
Big fun additions to the game to keep it from getting repetitive. But DLC Pack 1 felt like it was going to be a make or break for Call of Duty World War II. The game needed more content and it needed it stat. Anticipation rose until the DLC's launch on PS4 on January 30th, 2018. The Resistance DLC introduced 3 new multiplayer maps, 1 war mode
I remember
map,
this one. This
and
one was
1
pretty
zombies
good.
map. This DLC was turning out to be the same as the past ones. A few maps made to spice up the rotation of the base game. The 3 multiplayer maps were Occupation, Valkyrie, and Anthropoid. Anthropoid took place in Prague and focused around a center lane design with good spots for sniping. It was fine. Valkyrie took place in the woods of East Prussia and was a solid map. It had a great World War II aesthetic and a good layout. Arguably one
I kind of like this map. I fuck with it.
of the better DLC maps that entire year. The biggest one that excited fans, however, was Occupation, which was a remake of Resistance from Modern Warfare 3. Do I have to say Modern Warfare 3 2011 now, or are we calling MW3 2023? Who cares? The new war map was nothing to shake a stick at, and barely anyone cared for zombies, as it was trying too hard to be like Treyarch's beloved mode. So the rest of the pack
I can see that
was a snooze fest to most fans. The biggest thing, however, was the new division called Resistance. Players were finally excited to see if this would give us a purpose to the division system, and it didn't. Resistance Division only introduced
all
a
I'll say.
tactical knife skill
all
and
I'll
a
say.
new pistol. Players couldn't even use the tactical knife on pistols within other divisions. What was the point? Things were looking rough and player counts were continuing to fall. So
Yeah, they're
Activision
dropping.
decided to step in to attempt to create one of the biggest comeback stories in franchise history.
Chapter 4 from the ground up.
On February 20th, 2018, the COD community was met with a wild announcement. Activision announced that Glenn Schofield and Michael Condrey, the founders of Sledgehammer Games, had decided to transition from their duties at Sledgehammer to executive roles at Activision. This felt out of left field. Many believed the pair was fired after the dumpster fire that was World War II's launch and the poor fan reception, but no true answer was ever given. Aaron Halen was placed in their positions and is still the studio head to this day. So what did this mean for fans? The Call of Duty community was terrified amid the chaos of these departures. Was World War II going to get 3 more DLCs anymore? Was it going to get overhauled and fixed to the fans' liking? Was there ever going to be an Advanced Warfare 2? Well, fans wouldn't get this answer until April 10th
That
when
would be
DLC
bad.
2,
Or even worse, probably Call of Duty Ghost 2.
4. This is the overhaul that saved Call of Duty World War II. The DLC came with more maps, the coolest one being based in Egypt, but it also introduced massive gameplay
I don't know if I remember that one, but
Divisions
yeah.
were completely changed.
I remember that
it was
map on
finally
screen right now,
similar to
and
the
the one just a
original
second ago.
creative class system. Bayonets, suppressors, incendiary shells, and the tactical knife were officially added as attachments for any weapon. They were no longer locked behind one division. The disastrous division system was finally gone. They also eliminated the basic training titled Primed, which allowed players to have an extra attachment slot. Now, every loadout gave guns an extra attachment slot. But that wasn't all. Now players could have both a tactical grenade and a lethal grenade. No longer were you forced to have one over the other. Launchers could also be secondaries on any division. And to top it all off, Sledgehammer had one more surprise for COD fans.
What?
Limited sprint was no more. Unlimited sprint was back and a standard across all divisions. This was one of the biggest complaints of fans pre-DLC 2, and the devs actually listened. Prayers had been answered and things were finally looking positive for fans of Call of Duty World War II. It was also around this time that Sledgehammer Games took a less grounded approach to the game than before and allowed for more goofy and unrealistic maps to exist. The best example of this was from the summer event in which the map Sandbox was announced.
Did this map, I honestly love this map right here. This map's great.
This had players shrunken down to little army men and placed in a children's sandbox. On top of this, Captain Butcher was shining the sun's energy down into...
I remember loading this up and be like, what the fuck is this, bro? But it actually turned out to be great, dude.
The map via a magnifying glass to burn people who crossed its path. The outfits also started to get crazier. They also introduced super fun game modes such as Hardpoint. This mode is essentially
Hardpoint was good.
But with zombie NPCs roaming around the map. So on top of players
I remember that mode
going
too.
for you, the zombies were attacking you as well. Infected and Prop Hunt were also introduced to the
that mode. I liked that idea. Because that was good.
Party games playlist. Supply drop weapons also got goofier. I mean, they even added a sword to the game. All of this plus 2 more solid DLC
the sword
packs helped to keep players satisfied until the launch of Black Ops 4. Call of Duty World War II was finally living up to its potential. The devs were listening to the fans, and the new head at Sledgehammer Games seemed to be helping the company's reputation. Despite all of these positives, player numbers didn't rise, as by the time these changes took effect,
it was a little too late.
People had already moved on.
Chapter 5 conclusion. So we're at near the end of the video.
Call of Duty World War II was promised to be the Call of Duty game to bring us back to the franchise's roots. While it delivered on these promises, it took half of its life cycle to get it right. It's understandable why fans left weeks after launch, and even more understandable that they didn't return after the game's overhaul. Everything was against this game. Poor leadership, the rise of Fortnite, the bland...
it was just... right idea, wrong time, honestly.
Color and setting of World War II. But the craziest part of it all, Call of Duty World War II was the best-selling game on the PS4 store in 2017. and its first 2 DLC packs were in the top selling DLC lists in PS4 as well. It just goes to show you how popular Call of Duty is, even when it feels like it's failing. Hopefully though, after having this year of chaos contextualized, you too will see how the least remembered Call of Duty title may have just been the most underappreciated.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Alright, that was a great video. I will see you in the next video. I will be doing more reactions soon. I just haven't gotten to it. So go check out Tdawgsmitty in this video. They might be in the link in the description. And I will see you all in the next video.